Brazil. Now we're gonna go to Copa America squads. Brazil, Mexico. They announced their squads for Copa America, upcoming Copa America this summer. The combined Copa America between North America, South America. It's gonna be a brilliant, brilliant tournament. But they both announced their squads, and both have some, some interesting things I noticed with them. Uh, let's see. Let's go with the Brazil squad first. So they got Alisson from Liverpool, Bento from Atletico Paranaense, Ederson from City. No real surprises there. Defenders: Brandon Beraldo from PSG, Militao from Real Madrid, Gabriel Magalhaes from Arsenal, Marquinhos from PSG, Danilo from Juventus, Quato from Girona, Arama from Atletico Brazilian club, and then Wendell from Porto. In midfield, Andres Pereira, yes, the former Manchester United midfielder Andres Pereira from Fulham, Bruno Guimaraes, Newcastle, Douglas Luiz, Aston Villa, João Gomez from Wolves, and Lucas Paquetá from West Ham. A completely Premier League midfield, if you noticed, and they also not including a Casemiro who missed out on the squad. And then the forwards, you got Endrick from Palmeiras, Evanilson from Porto, Martinelli from Arsenal, Rafinha from Barcelona, Rodrigo from Real Madrid, Savinho from Girona, Vinicius Jr. from Real Madrid. This is a team dominated by mostly Premier League and La Liga players. You got a few Brazilian league players in there, but it's a lot of Premier League players, which is very new look for Brazil squads. They have Premier League players. Brazil have a good history of Premier League, but you have looking at an entire midfield. You got also Martinelli in the attacking aspect. Your two main goalkeepers, and then you also have a center back. There's a lot of Brazilians in this team, a few Porto players too. But we got to talk about some of the guys that are missing. Casemiro, Anthony, Richarlison. Richarlison was the one that kind of shocks me because Richarlison was kind of like that answer for Brazil number 9 in the last World Cup. Kind of faded off at the end, but he still had a good tournament. I was surprised by that. Dorviel Jr. came out and said a recent injury picked up is what caused it to, that decision. Casemiro one we were discussing earlier this week, talking about whether or not it should be in the squad. I think he had value bringing him just as an experienced guy. Dorviel Jr. seemed to disagree. He decided to go with Andres Pereira instead. That's the main guy that I wouldn't have brought. I would have brought Casemiro instead. But Andres Pereira, he's had a good season at Fulham. He's had a very, very good season. He gives you something a little bit different in there with his ability. He has a good season. So I understand that decision. He has had a better season than Casemiro. So reward the player that's had the better season. It would be unfair to Andres Pereira to let Casemiro go despite the season he's had compared to him. So I understand it. The thing Gabriel Jesus, he had that poor World Cup in 2018. Not scoring any goals. 2019, he was kind of our man at Copa America. But other than that, he's really been struggling to get back into this Brazil squad. He's been in and out. He got into the World Cup squad, but it was kind of a makeshift player. Only played the third game in which he suffered a bad injury that kept him out for a lot of the season for Arsenal. And then this season, he's also started off a little bit injured. I think he's a talented player who just doesn't really score goals. He's more of a brilliant, more of a João Felix in my opinion. Good quality, can play a number 9 role, but he's really better playing right alongside a true 9. And I guess Dorviel Jr. didn't really see the value in him, which I'm surprised. He is a talented football player, and I think he's getting a little bit disrespected by Brazil because he has the ability. But he is inconsistent. So I'm surprised by that. I was also shocked by the Richarlison thing, but we got updated injury-wise. Anthony doesn't surprise me at all. He's been really, really bad. He was so bad at that last World Cup. It's not even a joke. Oh my goodness! In that game against Croatia, skill, no end product. He still hasn't solved his end product issue. I have no problem with him not being in the squad. Other than that, this is a team that has some experience, but not much experience defensively. The fullbacks is weak. I like the guy that they brought in from the Brazilian league. I haven't watched him play, but they say he's talented. So I am concerned. I am concerned a little bit for this team, but they had a good international friendlies, and this is a team on the rise. And I'm very interested to whether or not ND does have a role to play in this tournament. I'm very, very interested in, as we go on. But obviously, the guys in the squad that really is going to get this team going is Vinicius and Rodrigo, the two main guys. They are going to be what elevate. They got to bring that Champions League magic that they have. They kind of have to bring that to Brazil. Vinicius, he hasn't been the same player he's been for Real Madrid and Brazil. He needs to bring that to Brazil if Brazil want to go on and win this Copa America. Mexico also, came out with their squad today, and it's a squad that a lot of fans are happy about because of the fact that the players, the age of the players and all that, dropping some of these veteran guys out. But first of all, let me just read the squad for you. So goalkeepers, Luis Malagon from America, Julio Gonzalez from Pumas, Raul Rangel from Chivas. Defenders, Jorge Sanchez from Porto, Israel Reyes from Club America, Brian Garcia from Toluca, Cesar Montes from Almeria, Victor Guzman from Monterrey, Alexis Peña from Necaxa, Johan Vasquez from Genoa, Jorge Orozco from Chivas, Gerardo Ortega from Monterrey, and Brian Gonzalez from Pachuca. Midfielders, Edson Alvarez from West Ham, Luis Romo from Monterrey, Jordan Carrillo from Santos, Eric Sanchez from Pachua, Oribinel Pineda from Athens, Roberto Alvarado from Chivas, Luis Chavez from Dynamo Moscow, Andres Montaña from Mazatlan, Fernando Beltran from Chivas, Carlos Rodriguez from Cruz Azul. And then the forwards position, Marcelo Flores from Tigres, Cesar Huerta from Tigres, Julian Quinones from America, Guillermo Martinez from Pumas, Santiago Jimenez from Feyenoord, Alexis Vega from Toluca, Diego Lainez from Tigres, Uriel Antuna from Cruz Azul. You see here, no Chucky Lozano, no Raul Jimenez, who has not been the same since that head injury, and no Nemo Ochoa, who wants to play in this next World Cup. So those three guys dropped and going with a complete youth team, because this team in the Nations League team that lost to the U.S. was completely different. And they won with a bunch of young guys, and this is what Mexico wanted. They want them to behave like a proper federation and look into the future and look into these guys that can really be a threat to help Mexico do something at the World Cup. And I think a change was needed, because in Mexico last couple of years, they've been in the worst form that they've been, ever. The losing 3 straight finals to the U.S., not being unbeaten, U.S. being unbeaten against them, and the long streak that they are. I think there's a time. I know the Irving Lozano one is a little bit tricky because he is 28, and you might think he can help you out here, but he has been struggling of recent, and I guess they just want to go with the guys that they want to check out. This is not some sort of Gold Cup or anything. This is the Copa America, so. And this is a tournament that's very, very important for the Mexican national team, especially as they build to a semi-home World Cup coming up. So no, I'm surprised by this roster. I guess they just drew the line after the last Nations League final, saying, okay, the last Nations League final. They drew the line saying, enough is enough. We have to completely change everything for us if we're trying to actually be a legit sort of team for this upcoming World Cup. Some things need to change, and they're absolutely right, because what happened. And I feel like the squad can go in being young, no pressure on them, because they're all youngsters. They all represent Mexico at Copa America. The media is tough and all that, but they can go in and they can kind of play with no sort of fear, and I think it makes it dangerous. I think as a U.S. men's national team fan, this Mexico team should scare you more than the Mexico team that they played in the Nations League, because that just seemed like a team with low energy, no cohesion, no desire. It just seemed predictable. I think with this Mexico team provides an unpredictability, and I really like to see how they do in this Copa America, because I think that they can be I think they could be a much more contender with this kind of roster, with a young team, with the energetic team, with the hungry team, than the teams that they were bringing in the Nations League and the last World Cup. It was just flat out not good enough. So building something for the future, I think, is a brilliant move. If you are in, Mexico National Team Federation.